Hi, and welcome to this workshop on speaking with confidence and getting your voice heard. If we haven't met before, my name is Julie Cullen, and in my opinion, everyone deserves to have a career they love. And that's why I set up my training and coaching business, to give you access to affordable resources that will help you create the career you want. And one of the things that can hold you back is a lack of confidence, a lack of belief in yourself and your abilities, a lack of confidence to speak up and be heard. Today's workshop is focused on how to speak up with more confidence. Growing your confidence and belief in yourself can take time, and that's where I have coaching programs that run for a couple of months to help you understand why you think and behave the way you do. And more importantly, I help you to change the way you think about situations, and I teach you techniques to develop your confidence in those situations. And what I'm going to share with you today are some very, very simple and yet powerful and effective techniques that will help you not only sound more confident, but will also help you on that first step to feel more confident as well. There's nothing worse when you find the courage to speak up and then feel like you struggle to get your message across, or you feel like people don't listen to what you have to say. It can feel terrible to feel like you're being ignored or that your opinion is being disregarded. You can get frustrated, despondent. You can begin to feel like there's just no point in even trying to be heard. But don't lose heart and don't throw the towel in just yet. As I said, today you're going to learn some very simple and practical steps that you can take when you go back to the office that will help you communicate more confidently and more effectively. I know if you lack confidence, then even just the thought of stepping out your comfort zone can send your mind and body into a spin. That's why I keep things simple. I remember attending events at work early in my career, and I would listen to the speakers up on stage, wishing I had their confidence. I wished I even had the confidence to raise my hand and ask a question, which I didn't. Because as soon as I thought about asking a question, my heart would start to beat a little faster. My mind would start spinning. My mouth would dry up. Just the thought of doing it triggered my fear, and so I would stay silent. Until I decided enough was enough, and I started my journey to develop the confidence to speak up on stage. And now I'm the presenter at events, talking to groups, both virtually and face-to-face, and I love it. And so what I've done is I've taken a lot of the lessons that I learned in my journey to develop my coaching programs to help other women on their journey to speak more confidently. What I'm going to share with you today are two very simple actions that you can take immediately to help you sound more confident. You can put these into practice as soon as you go back to the office. And even better, you will also begin to feel more confident as you use these lessons every single day. So you sound more confident and you will begin to feel more confident. Sound good? Right, let's get started. The language you use has a huge impact on how well you're listened to and how people respond to what you have to say. And there are lots of ways in which you can sabotage your message through the use of the wrong language. And today I want to look at one of the most common of those, and that is what we call weak language. Have you ever been in a meeting or had a conversation with someone and asked a question starting with, "This may be a stupid question, but..." Or maybe you wanted to put forward a proposal and you start by saying, "I'm not sure this will work, but what about..." This is what's called weak language. Language that makes you sound unsure of yourself, your thoughts and your opinions. And I bet you hear it a lot in the workplace. When you use weak language, you're sabotaging your ability to present your ideas with authority and confidence. So when you speak, are you going in with 100% conviction and belief in what you're about to say? Or are you so worried what people might think that you play it down to soften the blow, just in case your idea is rejected? Speaking with influence and authority means speaking with conviction, believing in yourself. And I'll come on to that in a minute. But in terms of what you say, it's, "I have a question," and just ask it. Don't preface it with, "It may be a stupid question." Just ask your question. If you have a thought or an idea, then it's, "I propose that we," I'm going to share some thoughts. My recommendation is. Hear the difference? So much better than, I'm not sure this will work, but what about? Using strong language means those listening will have confidence in you and what you have to say. Sharing your ideas and thoughts doesn't mean to say you always need to be right or that everyone needs to agree with you, if that's what you're worried about. Because it's okay if they don't. You don't always agree with everyone else. The point is you have an opinion and you shared it in a confident manner. Start to listen to the language that you use and identify some of the weak words you use when you speak. Words like sorry, might, possibly, maybe, just. All weak and minimising the impact of what you're saying. And I'm pretty sure as I speak there are other words popping into your head that either you use or you've heard other people use. Phrases like I believe, I think, I feel. They all sound like you're being cautious about what you're going to say, that you're not actually fully convinced yourself. So if you're not convinced, how can others be convinced and have confidence in what you're about to say? So let me show you an example of how you can change the way you speak. So the sentence is, with this option, I think you'll see that we could create a great result. And at first you may think the sentence sounds okay and that you're confidently sharing what you think. But the words I think can introduce doubt in the minds of your audience. Do you think this will work? Or are you sure this will work? Are you confident this will work? You may even get asked that question. If you want to persuade your audience of your confidence in your opinion, remove the words I think. They're not necessary. With this option, you'll see that we could create a great result. It's better. Can you still see a weakness in the sentence? With this option, you'll see that we could create a great result. Is the word could a confident word? Is there a better word? How about, with this option, you'll see that we will create a great result. Total conviction and belief in what you're proposing. And you can make that statement even more impactful by removing a few more unnecessary words. With this option, we will create a great result. There you go. Powerful, impactful, confident and decisive. And all you've done is changed or removed a few words. You've gone from, with this option, I think you'll see that we could create a great result, to, with this option, we will create a great result. Start to listen to the language you use in the workplace. And listen to the language other people use. Whose words and opinions do you believe in? How confident do they sound? What about those who don't sound confident? Can you identify the weak and unnecessary words they're using? Use stronger language when you speak and notice how much more confident you sound. Then start to notice how much more confident you feel as your communication skills improve. There are so many words and phrases that you use that make you sound unsure of what you're saying. And I've collected them all into a workbook that is available for you to download. I share weak words and suggest stronger words that you can use in their place. And I also highlight the phrases that you need to ditch from your vocabulary, to just stop using. Okay? And there's a link to this in the description below this video. Go check it out. The next technique I want to share with you today is a method for delivering your message in a short, well-constructed way to get your point across without rambling or taking too long. But before I do that, I want to acknowledge those of you who may find changing the language you use more difficult than it sounds. For some of you, you get it, you'll embrace it, you'll make the changes to the language you use. For some of you, it still might feel a little uncomfortable. You want to use the stronger language and sound bolder and more confident, but it may feel a little uncomfortable and you want to retreat back into using the weak language that you're more comfortable with. How confident would you be using the sentence, with this option we will create a great result? Or would you prefer hiding behind some of the doubt just in case you're wrong? If that's you, I want you to take a moment to ask yourself why. If you're using weak language and other minimizing words and weak delivery, which we'll come on to in a minute, then that suggests that either you don't have the confidence in yourself or what you're about to say. Maybe you're worried what other people will think. You're worried that you might be wrong or that your idea would be rejected. Do you know why you use this type of language? Do you understand the belief that leads you to lack the confidence to share your opinion in a strong and powerful manner? The beliefs you have are what influence how you think and how you behave in any given situation. So do you know what beliefs are influencing you to use weak language? What beliefs are holding you back from communicating more confidently and strongly? So there are ways in which you can identify your beliefs. Think about how you define yourself. You may define yourself by what you are or you're not. You may say, I'm a shy person. I'm not someone who can speak in front of groups. A very precise and limiting view of what you are and what you're not. You may judge yourself. How often do you use the phrase, I don't? For example, I don't deserve a promotion, and so you choose not to ask for one. Or I don't have the confidence to do that, so you don't even try. How often do you start a sentence with, I don't? Or maybe your word is, I can't. Choosing to believe that your abilities are fixed and that there is nothing you can do about it. I can't speak in front of a group, or I can't negotiate a pay rise. You might also believe there are things that you must or mustn't do or say, rules and boundaries that you impose on yourself, or maybe ones that have been imposed on you by others that you've chosen to continue with. And those are just the beliefs about yourself. What about the beliefs you have about the other people involved? How others might think or react? If you think others are more capable or knowledgeable, then you'll likely not question or challenge them, particularly in the workplace. And then do you think you're a mind reader? Do you know what other people are thinking just based on your values and beliefs about them? Do you do that? No, for example, she didn't say anything about my idea, so she must not agree with it. When you have no idea whether she did or did not agree with it because she hasn't told you. You haven't asked her. You've just decided that you know, based on the fact that she didn't say anything. You're a mind reader. Okay? So take some time to examine the belief that you have that is holding you back from speaking up more confidently. And then once you've identified it, you need to choose to let it go. And I know that's a challenge, and that's what a lot of my coaching about is helping people to choose to let go of some of those beliefs. It can take time, but you do need to identify them and then start the process of looking to replace them with a more confident way of thinking. For example, I am capable of learning to overcome my fear and speak in front of an audience. My opinions are just as valuable as everyone else's. I can have a reasoned conversation with my boss about why I deserve a pay rise. If you want others to listen when you speak, you need to believe in yourself and what you're about to say. And it's not always easy to do it on your own, so why not enlist some help? Tell a colleague what you're doing and ask them to give you feedback after you've spoken up in a department meeting or in a conversation, in a phone call. Let them know words and phrases that you want them to look out for and ask them to let you know if they hear you using them. Or even just ask them how confident you did or did not sound and why. There may be opportunities to record yourself when you speak and listen back. I know it can be awful listening to your own voice. You get used to it, trust me. But it's a valuable thing to do, to take that step back and hear yourself as others hear you. And then if you want my help, then come along to one of my programs. I do have a program that's specifically for communicating with confidence. It's a group coaching program. It is women only. There isn't one available at the moment, but enrolment will be opening up again soon. So if you would like to know more, there's a link in the description below, and you can just go in there and pop your details in and put yourself on the wait list to be updated when that becomes available. So whatever you choose, make sure you choose to take action. And if you need to get some help, get some help. But whatever you do, you want to start the journey to build your confidence. It won't happen by reading books. It won't happen by watching YouTube videos or attending workshops. You have to put the lessons in to action that you've learnt. If you're putting off doing something because you're waiting to have more confidence, that is a really bad strategy because it doesn't work. Confidence comes from taking action. If you don't take action, like starting to use the strong language you're learning in this video, then you won't grow in confidence. And I promise you, with the right support and the right action plan, you can supersize your confidence. It doesn't take that long. You can do it in a few months. I've seen it happen with so many of my clients. But you need to take the first step. So right here, right now, watching this video, make a commitment to take an action this week. Pause the video, write it down. A goal written down is more likely to be achieved than a goal that isn't. Share it in the comments below this video. A goal shared is more likely to be achieved than one that isn't as well. Make a commitment to yourself. Okay, so moving on. You've learned about changing from weak language to strong language. You've learned about removing unnecessary words. Now we're going to look at how you deliver your message. There is nothing worse than listening to someone droning on using 100 words when 10 would have been enough. If you feel that people drift off when you speak, or you ramble because you're nervous, practice shortening what you have to say. And a great framework to use if you've got a short, simple point to get across is something called the PEP framework, which I discovered in the book by Kay White called The A to Z of Being Understood. So Kay has this framework, PEP, point, explanation, point again. And I'm going to give you some examples in a minute just to make clear what that means. But with this framework, you get your point across without spending too much time in needless information sharing that people really aren't interested in. So here's a very simple example. When you get your point across quickly and concisely, people will respect you for it. They'll understand where you're coming from, they'll get a sense of what you need to be thinking about, and you'll save yourself precious time and energy. So it's really worth getting your point across quickly and concisely because people will respect you for it. Did you see how that worked? Simple, concise, straight to the point. You understood exactly the message I was sharing and why I'm making the point. So let's move into a workplace style example. Your boss has asked you to review the software that the company uses for its video conferencing and evaluate it against 3 other options on the market and come to the next meeting with your recommendation. You do your homework, you have your recommendation ready to present. And at the meeting, what many people would do is go one by one through each of the options, sharing the pros and cons of each piece of software, and finally, towards the end, maybe 30 to 45 minutes later, they make their recommendation. In the meantime, people begin to switch off, they're checking their phones, or worse, the manager interrupts and asks them to skip to the recommendation in the interest of saving time. How embarrassing. Your boss didn't ask for a software comparison. They asked you to come to the meeting with your recommendation. So that's what you should lead with. And you can use this PEP framework to go in strong, to begin with your recommendation and a summary of the key reasons for that decision. Then invite questions or offer to provide more detail. If they have any questions, they'll ask. If they don't, because they trust you and trust the research that you've done, they might simply accept your recommendation without any explanation or further detail. But you lead with the recommendation. So in that situation, what that might look like is, I recommend we replace our existing software with conferencing software from company X. It has all the functionality we had listed as our must-have criteria, plus it has additional functionality that would enable us to deliver even better large-scale remote conferences to our global teams. The look and feel of this software is very similar to the current platform, so there would be minimal training required for our employees. And the licensing cost for this platform would give us an annual cost saving of 20% on our existing software. Therefore, my recommendation is that we replace our existing software with this option. I'm going to pause at this point and invite any questions regarding my recommendation, or if you would like, I can share my research results with you. Can you see that this method provides the key pieces of information the listeners need to make a decision? And if they have any questions, then you can expand on the detail. You can have slides ready, backup slides to go into a bigger level of detail of each of the platforms if that's what was asked for. Your boss didn't invite you to come to the meeting with an evaluation of the different software. They asked you to come to the meeting with a recommendation. And that's what you've just delivered, very precisely and confidently. And the 3 supporting pieces of detail is intentional. 1 might not be enough, 6 could be too many. 3 supporting points usually gives your listener enough to start with. And you can use this framework in lots of different settings. You can use it for putting together emails, for planning a phone call, for giving a presentation. The important thing is to get to the point. Use the PEP framework. So there we have it for today's video. You can immediately sound more confident by applying these very simple techniques. Number 1, replace the weak language and use strong language. 2, remove unnecessary words and phrases. And 3, deliver your message using the PEP framework. And if you find it difficult to apply these techniques and need more help to build your confidence, then please get in touch. Don't allow a lack of confidence or a doubt in yourself hold you back. Let's have a chat about it and I'll let you know how I can help if that's the right thing for you. And if you would like to see more of these videos, more of my content, then again, there's another link in the description below. If you put your details in there, I can let you know when they're available. And as always, if you found today's session helpful, please drop some feedback in the comments below. I always love to hear from people that watch my videos. What was your biggest takeaway? What will you do differently? What is the action that you're going to take as a result of what you've just learned in the last half hour? I genuinely mean it when I really want to hear from you. And if there's any ideas for things that you would like to have learned more about in this video, let me know. Who knows, you could influence my future content. But for now, that's all for this video. Thanks very much for listening. Bye for now.